what was the craziest thing that you found? Like you were, from 2013 till today, right? When the book's coming out is a long time. I've heard insane stories from both people who work there and also people who just kind of watch from the outside. What in your opinion, is the craziest thing that you came across?
Okay, so I'll start with one that is kind of boring, but I find totally insane. And so that is like at the end of the day, this guy, Adam Neumann, sort of convinced the world this thing was a tech company, raised, it went up from, 0 to 47 billion and then back down to 8 billion in valuation. So people lose billions of dollars. And he walks away with like 1 to 2 billion plus dollars. So like he essentially was paid hundreds of millions of dollars to leave the company and then stay away from it and not control it. And it's like, that's the system? Like you convince people to give you all this money and then to make it so you don't take the thing to zero, they pay you hundreds of millions of dollars more. So that is one crazy thing. In terms of others, there's probably a list of like 300 I could do. I in terms of like more related to tequila, and pot. One of the best stories we have in the book that it's really tiny anecdote, but was just a fun one was, on one flight, there was so much pot smoke that on his private jet that the crew had to put on oxygen masks.
Wait, what? Is that confirmed?
He just likes smoking on his plane.
Yeah, is that confirmed?
I mean, to put it in the book,
So they smoked so much weed on the plane that the crew had to wear oxygen masks?
So this is sort of pairing with like there were a lot of rowdy things on private jets, and like he actually would rent for the first years of WeWork. He was renting a private jet, and one of the private jet companies, VistaJet, was just always complaining to WeWork staff about how Adam had ruined this or that on the jet, and they had to take a jet out of service because a credenza was torn down, and like stains were on the carpet from wine or something. And another jet company sent them an email like, the passengers were spitting tequila on each other, and like someone was walking around without any clothes on, and they left. They got sick across the plane and the bathroom, or something like that.
I mean,
so he loved jets. He just like absolutely obsessed over them.
And I think that I read at one point that like there would be meetings on the jet as well, right? So it was like there was partying, but there was like meetings as well.
Yeah. And so some of these people, I mean, some people would be like, in his office and waiting outside for 2 hours because he was absolutely late for everything. And then he'd be like, come with me. And so they go in the car with him to JFK or Teterboro or whatever airport, and then be like, come on the jet. And so then you just like continue your meeting on the jet. And then the plane would arrive in Boston and he'd be like, okay, now go find your own way home. So be meetings. They're often, people said it was like really hard to get, they hated flying with Adam overseas because you couldn't sleep because you were either working the whole night or partying or both.
Is this a work hard, play hard scenario, or is this play hard and like somebody else does the work? Like how would you categorize it?
Oh, definitely the former. Adam worked really hard. He worked, his biggest sort of talent in that regard was like, he just didn't need sleep. I mean, there was the story from the CFO where he told me once where like Adam had the CFO in a meeting until 1:30 a.m. or 2 at the office. And then Adam was like, I really want to go surfing sometime. And the CFO was like, you can use my beach house. And so then Adam, the CFO, comes in at 8 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. the next morning or something like that. And he gets there and Adam is in the office in his beach clothes, having already gone surfing that morning at the guy's beach house near Rockaway.
That's nuts.